In today's video, we're going to be sharing with you guys why Jake Paul's mansion was raided by the FBI. You guys probably caught this story yesterday. I think I first became aware of this story either on Twitter or Drudge Report. Um, but I couldn't, no matter how many articles I read, no matter how many Twitter threads I dove down, I couldn't figure out actually why the house was being raided. And people were speculating everything from child porn to gun charges to drugs to roofing girls at parties, but nobody really had a concrete answer. And like I said, I went digging a little bit, read a bunch of articles, and nothing really dove into it. And I finally this morning found an article that gives kind of a concrete reason why his house was raided. This is a little bit of a different video for us. I'm making this because I think it'll probably get a decent amount of views because I think a lot of people are curious about this. But this is a bit of a different video for us. I normally don't dive into like popular YouTube culture. And to be quite honest, I really don't know that much about Jake Paul or Logan Paul. I think there's five brothers all in all, if I'm not mistaken. I guess one of them was a Disney star at one point. I'm familiar with them. I know of them. I hear about them in the news and kind of popular culture. There was a whole Suicide Forest thing. Then he was being like offensive and insulting to people in Japan. Like, I hear all the negative stories about him, but I really don't know much about these two brothers, their history. I remember like one of them fought some other popular YouTuber called Keemstar or something like that, but I really don't follow this stuff at all. So I couldn't tell you too much about these guys. It seems they're almost universally hated, and everybody kind of thinks they're douchebags, which is kind of weird that they're so popular. Like, who are these fans? Because it seems like everybody hates them. Although maybe that's where their fame comes from, is just kind of being universally hated. Anyhow, don't have too much backstory. Although I do recall, and you guys probably remember hearing a story back during the George Floyd riots. You guys probably saw that he was in some Phoenix mall or Phoenix grocery store. I saw some picture of him outside of PF Chang's. He was inside of one of the stores, and I think he actually got in trouble for looting. I think it was just like a trespassing or vandalism charge that he wound up being charged with. But it seemed like that story kind of came and went, and it was kind of over with until yesterday when the FBI raided. And I'm still kind of confused about this, whether it was his home or I guess there's another popular, YouTuber, and I don't know if he was staying with him. We'll kind of get into this in the article, but I did finally find an article where they definitely concretely said that the reason for the FBI raid goes back to the Phoenix riots. And so that's what we're going to be kind of diving into. The story that I found that actually kind of touched on the reason comes from the Washington Post. I don't know if you guys actually saw that video yesterday of the FBI rolling down his street. Like, I know it's always better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. Now, I know, law enforcement, these days is very militarized, but it just kind of seemed crazy, like two armored carrier vehicles rolling down the street with like, a dozen FBI agents with guns and flak jackets and helmets like hanging off the sides of them. It just kind of seemed a little bit like overkill. Anyhow, this article, which I'll link to in the description box below, is titled "Amid Riot Investigation, FBI Confiscates Guns from YouTuber Jake Paul's Home." When federal agents executed a warrant to search YouTube personality Jake Paul's home in Calabasas, California early Wednesday morning, they found a long gun leaning against a hot tub in the backyard. And I've seen some photos online, just like a big old AR, tactical out with all types of accessories leaning against the hot tub. And you also later saw um, them carrying some guns out of the house. It goes on to say, over several hours, FBI agents confiscated multiple other guns from Paul's property in a scene captured on film by KABC TV Los Angeles. Federal officials say the raid is part of an investigation linked to a riot at a shopping mall in Scottsdale, Arizona during protests in May. Paul and his production crew filmed the riot. Now, yesterday, here's why I thought it was worth making a video. Yesterday, all the articles I read pretty much had no idea why the house was being raided. Like I said, people online in comment sections of articles and on Twitter were speculating. But an FBI agent pretty much concretely said this goes back to the Phoenix riots. There's a quote here that says the FBI is investigating allegations of criminal acts surrounding the incident at Scottsdale Fashion Mall in May 2020. Jill McCabe, a spokeswoman for the FBI Phoenix field office, told the Washington Post in an email. This morning, the FBI executed a federal search warrant in California and Las Vegas, Nevada, in connection with the investigation. So I think I'm assuming the Las Vegas raid actually had to do with with this other YouTuber who I guess is friends with Jake Paul. In this article, they have photos of the raid going on, police walking out of the house with the guns, as well as the gun laying against the hot tub. The search warrants and affidavit filed in the case have been sealed, and the FBI declined to provide further details about the nature of the investigation. 23-year-old Paul is a former Disney star who has made a career on YouTube by pulling outlandish stunts and often mining tragedy for clicks. His vlogs, also known as video blogs, and online persona have made Paul a divisive figure, and his recent escapades have repeatedly landed him in hot water. Paul is the younger brother of another contentious YouTube celebrity, Logan Paul. So I guess Logan Paul is the older brother, Jake Paul is the younger brother, who is perhaps best known for his amateur boxing matches and filming a dead body in Japan's Okigahara forest, which is a suicide forest. Both brothers launched their social media careers on a now defunct platform called Vine. I never really knew that they came over from Vine, a precursor to today's popular short-form video app TikTok. When Vine folded, the Paul brothers decamped to YouTube, where they've been working ever since. The younger brother Paul has also had several brushes with controversy over the past 4 years. He was ousted from his Disney show Bizaardvark in 2017 after a local television news station, KTLA, reported that Paul and the other 20-something social media creators he lived with had been tormenting their Los Angeles neighbors with increasingly intrusive stunts, the last straw coming when the men torched furniture in an empty pool. And I do kind of remember that. You got a bunch of rich, I'm guessing, older or middle-aged people paying a bunch of money to live in this nice neighborhood. And you got a bunch of kind of punk teenagers down the street, setting furniture on fire in the backyard and whipping up and down the street and on four-wheelers and things like that. I do kind of remember that story. Last month, the Calabasas mayor slammed Paul after he threw a large party in his mansion amid a spike in coronavirus cases in Los Angeles. Paul defended himself, heaping criticism on public officials for mishandling the pandemic instead. No one has answers. Our leadership is failing us. Everyone kind of just doesn't know what to do, Paul told the Insider last month. But I personally am not the type of person who's going to sit around and not live my life. Paul has often been drawn to tragedy, which he seems to use as a backdrop for his blogs. He ventured to Houston after Hurricane Harvey. We are going to get them supplies, we are going to save their lives, and we're going to flip and vlog it all at the same time, he declared at the time. He also took a brief pause from daily vlogging to film a documentary after the mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. In the film, Paul advocated for some measures to reduce gun violence, but some criticized the YouTube star for flaunting firearms in previous videos. While he was in Parkland, Paul kept an elaborate tattoo of a large rifle firing a bullet on his thigh covered. Okay, so they got a photo of he and a couple of his buddies with these AR-15 tattoos on their legs. His latest attempt to capitalize on a moment of national upheaval led to misdemeanor charges in Arizona, now in the FBI raiding homes near Los Angeles and Las Vegas. Paul ventured to Scottsdale, Arizona in late May after nationwide reports against police brutality broke out following George Floyd's death in Minneapolis. He ended up filming amid a crowd of alleged looters at the Scottsdale Fashion Square during a riot on May 30th. As people trashed the shopping center, Paul's videographer filmed Paul holding what appeared to be a stolen bottle of vodka. Scottsdale police charged Paul with criminal trespass and unlawful assembly a few days later. Paul defended his presence at the mall, even as activists blasted him for exploiting the protest for internet traffic. To be absolutely clear, neither I or anyone in our group was engaged in any looting or vandalism, Paul said in a statement the morning after the riot. I do not condone violence, looting, or breaking the law. Wednesday's FBI raids on Paul's homes are connected to a federal investigation of alleged crimes that took place at the Scottsdale shopping mall on May 30th, a spokeswoman said. So there's obviously more to this story than him just being there filming it or walking out with a vodka. Not sure if they stole guns or what that's going to be. We'll have to wait till more comes out. The Scottsdale Police Department and Scottsdale City's Attorney's Office are coordinating with the United States Attorney's Office for the District of Arizona and the FBI to ensure justice is served regarding criminal acts at Scottsdale Fashion Square on May 30th of 2020, the police department said in a statement. The police said it was in the best interest of the community to dismiss the charges for now, though they have the option to file a new complaint in the future. Paul's attorney Richard Schoenfield told Reuters that the YouTuber would be cooperating with the federal investigation. So that's all we got for now. But at least I know a lot of people were speculating. Oh, it's they had drugs in the house. Oh, it's guns. It's child pornography. It's roofing girls. This according to the FBI statement from an FBI agent, is somehow tied to the looting in Scottsdale. So at least we know that. We'll have to wait till more news comes out to learn a little bit more. If you guys know anything else about this story that I left out, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button below. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.